Welcome back to Holden's Golden Age of Wargaming. This is part 11 of our Let's Play playthrough of Soldiers Tactical Combat 1914 to 15. And what a humdinger of a turn we have here. First of all, have I been having fun with the rules? Because I thought that only when the cavalry charge were they subjected, so move the right up to an enemy and attack, which is called a charge. I assumed that that was when they were subjected to that huge penalty, but that's not the case as far as I can tell. Even though it starts off, the rules here start off by talking about their ability to charge. Then down here it says attacks by mounted cavalry against any other type of unit are always conducted last in any fire phase, and they only get to fire back if they have a no effect. So effectively, the last turn when the cavalry here fired back, they shouldn't have been able to. So luckily they missed. So it doesn't make any difference. However, the other thing I read while trying to figure that out was that where is it? If a mounted cavalry is disrupted by any type of unit except enemy mounted cavalry, you place the mounted counter with a dismounted counter before placing a disrupted marker on it. But if it's disrupted by another mounted cavalry, don't worry about it. But so that means that both of these mounted cavalry, when they got hit by this dismounted cavalry, which is considered to be infantry once it dismounts, that means that both of them automatically became dismounted. So let's put that on there and that on there. So for only being 3.5 pages of rules and me saying, oh, this is pretty simple, not going to be a problem, it has definitely made me realize how spoiled I am as a modern wargamer, because not only was there this situation, but there's been the interdiction fire. What happens? What happens when you disrupt or destroy a unit that's doing interdicting fire? I mean, I'm pretty sure what I'm doing is correct, but rules don't say, right? And there's been some other cases where rules just don't say what to do in that situation, and you basically have to house roll. Which, I mean, I guess back then that's the way it was, but it's really hard for me to I want to follow the rules, especially coming from Starfleet Battles, where there's a cross-reference for everything. There's one thing you can say about those rules for that game, Starfleet Battles. It's that the argument, you can have rules arguments, but you can typically always find an answer, a definite answer, in those 450 pages of rules. But in this game here with 3.5 pages of rules, there's no answer. So you just have to kind of house roll, which is it's interesting, but I have a really hard time with it. Because I want to do what the designer wanted me to do, and in some cases here, what I'm sure I'd love to see the designer play a game of it, so I could see exactly how they played it. But of course, we're not. That's not going to happen nowadays. All right, so it is turn 5. This is part 11. I think I already said that. And we are on the German move phase, which is the German phase of turn 5. And that's the other thing, is the terminology. It really only comes down to, I know I'm really beating a dead horse here, but the disruption with that enemy phase and friendly phase. I don't like turn, so you have the French, they move first. And then they have a move phase, and then they have fire phase, and then the Germans have a mutual fire phase, or fire phase. But then you have a German phase after that. The Germans move first, the Germans fire first. and then the French fire. And the wording is really important in the rules. So with this enemy phase, friendly phase stuff. So yeah, it has caused me no end of confusion. And as I said, I realize how spoiled I am by today's rule books. Like I mostly play GMT games, and the rules are they have the answers usually. And if they don't, well, you go on Board Game Geek and you look it up back. So very spoiled. Anyways, end of my rant. And we are now on to the Germans move. So what is my objective this time? My objective is to keep pushing, get the French out of this town. We're starting to get low on units as the Germans. Our infantry are more than twice as good as the French, attack value-wise. However, we're starting to run low on them, so I'm going to have to start being really careful with what I do here. So, what are we going to do? And this is a mess. This is a mess as well. So, I think what I'm first going to do is I'm going to dismount this cavalry. I mean, they're just there's so many penalties when you are mounted. So, we are going to dismount, spend all their movement, and there we go. Voila. I've actually moved my first piece. Alright, so next, we want to try to keep all our pieces in the town hex. However, I would like to actually, I've been talking about it, and I would actually like to set up so I can actually do observe fire with my artillery pieces here. So let's see if I can manage to do that. So, I think I'm going to go like this. Half, 1.5, he can still fire. He's going to move 1. He can still fire. He's not going to, but he still could. And then this guy's going to go. I was going to go up here, but then guess who? I mean, I can't lose any more infantry. That's it. We need to be really careful here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Can't move through the disruptions. I'll become disrupted. And of course, you just can't move through a hex that has had a unit just eliminated it. So we're going to go there like that. Now, technically, this unit here is in a clear hex, and it is adjacent to both of these dismounted cavalry. However, this is the one I'm interested in. And so to do observe fire, you have to be able to have a clear line of sight to the a friendly unit. And as we can see, actually I better go closer there. We just have a clear line of sight with that artillery. Howitzer is fine. Artillery and British machine guns can fire through units, but that doesn't matter for line of sight. Units, there's only 2 things that matter for line of sight. 2 things that block it: forests and towns, as far as I can tell. And I guess the third thing would be crest hexes. If you're below, these crests would block your line of sight. So, and then this guy also has a clear line of sight. So this unit here can act as the observer unit for all 3 artillery pieces. And this unit here can also attack directly because it's adjacent, so it can fire into the town. The only other thing that you need to worry about is that for observe fire, you have to be able to draw a line of sight to the hex edge, which we can. We can get to the hex edge with all of these artillery pieces. So I believe I can do observe fire here. Anyways, I should probably finish my movement first. But it's quite, because of the rules and the way that they're done, it's quite hard to wrap my head around how to play correctly sometimes. Alright, so I've already checked the range for this field gun. And it's basically its range, it can get to here, to that hex there. So I am going to move like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Safely out of range. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Safely out of range. These two here, for now, we're still going to stay there. And all the rest are going to stay there as well. So that is it for the Germans' move. So remove markers, and we're now on to the Germans' fire phase. So here's where we do it now. Because it's friendly, these are friendly phase disruptions, and it's the friendly phase because the Germans just got to move. I get to pull off these two disruptions. So those units can fire, however. And they can, one of them can, as observe fire. It's not adjacent, so it can't have a direct line of sight in it, but it can do observe fire because it has a friendly unit that is adjacent that can see directly into the hex. Following that, people? Are you all following that? So this unit here, though, can't fire through a friendly unit, right? So it can't fire. So I'm just gonna do that now. I can't fire. These guys aren't firing. And well, those two, they can move too much. This unit can't fire at anything. This unit can't fire at anything. It only has a range of 3. 1, 2, 3. These guys are as we knew. This guy can't fire at anything. That leaves our big wallop of an attack that we're going to do on this unit here. So we have 7 doubled because it's adjacent. So that's 14. But now we're going to have a bunch of halves. So that's 3.5. Okay, let's do this. Oh my. So we got, let's go red. Yeah, that's right. So we got 7. We have 3. Oh man. Sorry guys. 3.5. We have 5. We have a 4.5. See, this is why I'm writing this all out, because I'm actually going to put those 2.5s together. And another 10, which halved is 5. So this becomes a 5. This becomes a 5 because they're doing observe fire. This becomes a 4.5 because it's observe fire. This 7 becomes a 3.5 because it's observe fire. And then we have 14 points here, which I haven't written down because I just wanted to spare you from seeing what 14 would be like written by me using the marker. So we have 14, and then we have 8 here, so that's 22, 29, 34, 39 points. 39 points altogether against the town hex that the dismounted cavalry is in, which is an 8. So we have 1 short of having 5-to-1 odds. Unfortunately, we need 40 to have 5-to-1 odds. We only have 39, so that makes it 4-to-1 odds. Okay, and I don't know. We got artillery, we got rifle fire. Well, you guys, we've definitely heard the artillery more than the field guns more than the rifle. So I'll use the rifle dice. How's that sound? Here we go. Here we go. We get a 5 on a 4-to-1. That's only disrupted. So all that firepower pouring in, and we only get it disrupted. Unbelievable. So we're going to take an enemy phase disruption. We're going to flip it around to show that it's the French unit, the French's enemy phase. Not the Germans' enemy phase, but the French's enemy phase. And that's it. Except for that the cavalry, dismounted cavalry, wow, that's it for the Germans' fire phase. So I'm going to remove markers. I'm going to flip these over. I think that's the only 2 units that move when they can fire, or move so they couldn't fire. And now we are the French. And the French can fire them now. And this guy just got disrupted, so we know we can fire him. However, if we look at that, well, 2 points. But wait a minute, no, that's right, it's dismounted. So if it was mounted, we wouldn't be able to fight. But because it's dismounted, it's treated like a normal infantry. So we're going to do these two here. We're going to fire at this guy here for 2 points. No, I'm sorry. Because they're adjacent, they get to double. So 4 points. 4 points divided by 2 clear hex defense is 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 odds with the rifles. So here we go. Let's see what they get. And that's a 2. Now, 2 to 1. Oh, the Germans are really lucky. I mean, the Germans take much more losses there. I don't see how they can win. I don't even know how that happened, considering that they were mowing down the French infantry for a few turns there. So we get a disruption, and that is it's still the Germans' move phase. So that is a friendly phase disruption of the Germans. So we will switch that around to show that is the Germans' disruption. And then these two, oh yeah, good. Let's see here. And copy. And we know that these two have fired. Okay, well, next up we have our 2 French infantry companies here. And they want to fire on this dismounted cavalry, which is currently disrupted enemy. Now, if I disrupt them, I get to take that, flip that, and make it friendly, which is actually worse than enemy. Right? Do you see what I mean? I'm pretty sure that the disruption rules could be improved. They could be improved, people. All right, so we got 6 doubled because we're adjacent. That's 12. 12 to 8 is still, though, only 1 to 1 odds. So 1 to 1 rifle, here we go. And we get a 2, which is a disruption. So because this is the Germans' move phase, that means we flip this from enemy phase to friendly phase, which is actually worse. Because originally, before we did this, they would have been able to take that disruption marker off after our move phase because we're their enemy. But now, they won't be able to take it off until our next... Wait a minute. Our next move phase. That doesn't make sense either. That doesn't make sense either. How is that better? So these were enemy phase. Enemy phase. Or maybe I messed that up in the first place because that was the French's turn last time. Right? So that should have been... No, that should have been enemy phase. No, it was the French's turn, so it should have been friendly phase. If I have not proven yet that the disruption rules mess with your head. I mean, it'd probably be easier if I was only playing one side. So these should have been friendly phase. And now that I just did that disruption with this attack, it's now enemy phase. This is the Germans' move. So it should be friendly phase. Okay, yeah. I see what's going on. Friendly phase. So that should be enemy phase. Oh no, maybe I did have it right originally. Wow. You know, I should probably restart the video, but I'm going to leave this in just so you guys can have a laugh. Because, man, as I said, I am spoiled by modern day rules. That's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully I get the disruption rules by the time I'm done with this. That's fine. Okay, so that is it for those. I believe I have that right now. Yeah, I think I do. And we are left with the field gun. This field gun has done so much for the French, so much. But, and unfortunately, these guys could not get out of the way because they were disrupted. So we are going to fire on this one right here, the range of 15 hexes. And field guns ignore units in the way. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually not in the way. That should be here. And remove markers are done. So the field gun is firing this guy for 15, so it's a clear hex with a defense of 2. We have an attack of 6, so it's 3 to 1 odds. And here we go. Can the French get another kill? Can they get another kill? Their field gun. What is that going to say? That's going to say a 5. Okay. So a 5 on 3 to 1 is disrupted. So, and this is the Germans' move phase. So that means that this is a disrupted friendly phase for that. Even through its French fires phase. Right. Of the German move phase. Alright, so there we go. That is done. Remove markers. And I think that's it. So this was the end of the Germans' move phase and then firings. So we are now moving to turn 6. Looking at the situation, this is a mess. This is the Germans I thought would be doing better than this. But having that defensive 8 and those town hexes really makes it a lot harder. And I mean, I had all 3 artillery doing observed fire on that guy, plus an infantry attacking, plus another infantry doing observed fire, and still only managed to disrupt him. So, yeah, that's it. All right, so, and this, yeah, I'm going to stop talking about disruption. This is the last thing. So, that's what confuses me so much is that I have to put in this well, after the Germans move, you got to put friendly phase disruptions on the German units, enemy phase disruptions on the French units, and then when the French move, you got to put enemy phase disruptions on the German units and friendly phase disruptions on the French units. And it's as you can see, as you can hear, it's messing with my mind a lot. So anyways, it will all be part of the review. All part of the review at the end. But yeah, spoiled as a modern gamer. Anyways, have a good night. Take care, guys. And I'll see you next time as the French.